Sometimes I go extreme. Beer in one hand, the cigarette in another hand, and then they go inside the boiler, bugs and different animals, worms and all these disgusting things. And these things are distilled, and it is a common practice in the field of essential oil. Is completely unacceptable. Hi everyone, my name is Russian Adam. Welcome back to my wonderful new lab. And today I have actually many topics. I receive quite a few questions and comments, so would love to make a video to answer some of these questions, to clarify some of the misconceptions probably. So I get asked things like how to make perfumes, how to become a perfumer, how to blend, how to dilute some of the ingredients. So hopefully in the future I can make video about this topic. It is a very huge topic and I need a bit of planning before I shoot this video. Today's videos, however, inspired by another question and a topic that is very interesting, controversial, and a comment that we received. So question that I received, someone was asking where can he purchase affordable wood oils to be used in some of his perfume experiments, some of his perfume blends. And the comment we received on our upcoming Attar release is that yes, your Attar is very beautiful, very beautifully presented, however it is overpriced and we can source same Attars elsewhere for much cheaper. So I wanted to speak about this today. I wanted to speak about affordable wood oils and then why our Attars are priced the way they are. So person who asked me about affordable wood oils wanted to know where he can purchase oils that are obviously pure and more affordable than you can buy from our Feel Wood website or for example from other artisanal producers. And I told him this question is very complex and very difficult to answer. Probably I could have just suggested him one or two or three different distillers, suppliers or whatnot. However, I take these things very seriously. And what I mean by that is that even if I trust somebody, I still have to check about the purity using GCMS lab testing and then interpret the results to see whether oil is actually pure according to its description. Obviously in this field of wood oils, trust is number one priority. You have to trust the person you're dealing with. Unfortunately, I'm very sad to say this, but often trust is not enough. So first of all, you have to trust the person. Secondly, you check. So I buy my materials only from trusted sources, obviously. However, it's not stop me from testing my oils, from testing some of the most precious, some of the most expensive ingredients that I buy. And it does not matter whether it's coming from a large corporation, from a single small private distiller, even if I trust him, even if I know him, I still prefer to make sure and test the oil. Sometimes I go extreme. I even test the oils I myself produce. So you might be wondering like what Russian Adam is crazy, why he need to test agarwood oils that he distill himself. Yes, I did tested some of the oils I produce myself, and it's hard to imagine, probably hard to think why is that happening, but there are so many variables to this art and craft that sometimes it is essential. So I will try to explain. For instance, buying extremely expensive raw materials for distilling agarwood is not easy. And once you source the raw material, often chip by chip, bits by bits, you have to check it. So one of the latest oils I distilled is one of these wonderful oils that smells like orris. It has orris character, an amazing, uplifting, projecting, very complex, very unusual type of scent, very unusual type of aroma, reminiscent of orris butter or a very, very high quality orris absolute. So one of these oils was distilled from sinking quality agarwood shavings and small tiny broken pieces. When I purchased this batch of raw materials, I received it and I start to go through piece by piece, burning it, testing it, looking at it. I discovered that that particular batch had non-agarwood pieces mixed in it. I was like very, very disappointed, extremely let down, and I was just sitting recording a video of it, and I actually wanted to post a video about it, telling people like, look, see, like even the highest grade agarwood oils, nearly the sinking agarwood quality oils, not guaranteed to be pure, not guaranteed to be 100% undiluted, even if you distill it yourself. Because if I wouldn't check the pieces, I would never find out that those non-agarwood chips are present. However, I started to look into it more. I start to pick up these pieces, threw them away. I start to burn more. I start to smell more, and then I left these raw materials for several years. Then I took it back and started considering the project of distilling it. And I said to myself, okay, let me distill this raw material. I done my best. I selected all the pieces out of the raw materials that I thought are not agarwood. And I said, okay, let me distill it. Let me see the smell. And let me then test this oil. If this oil not going to be 100% pure, I will never sell it as pure agarwood oil. So I distilled this oil. I then tested my own oil in GCMS lab test. And it turns out that this oil is 100% pure. So it means that I managed to select all the pieces of non-agarwood that's been mixed in, and it not affected the purity of the oil, thankfully. However, this just goes to show us that you can never be sure when it comes to distillation of extremely expensive raw materials, how things done, the quality of raw materials, and it is extremely difficult to be 100% sure that things are 100% pure, 100% natural, and of a very, very high quality. Another example might be Thai agarwood oil. So just as somebody commented, like, why your attars are overpriced, some might say why your oud oils are overpriced. Some of the Thai plantation agarwood oils that we sold in the past cost maybe $100 per 3-gram bottle, maybe $150, $200 per 3-gram bottle, whereas you can purchase directly from Thailand agarwood factories oils that are much cheaper. $100 per 12-gram tola is a regular price, even $50 per tola some factories are selling. So some might be wondering, like, what's going on? Are they just buying the cheap stuff and reselling it for more expensive, or what's really happening? But it all goes back to the ingredients and the way it's done. Just as with the fast food or your, I don't know, things that we consume, your olive oil or other type of precious materials that we actually eat. If you go to your local grocery store, very unlikely that you will find 100% pure, fresh, nicely extracted olive oil for a cheap price. And if you want extremely fresh, extremely pure, extracted from a good grade raw materials, olive oil, you have to pay extra price for it. So I visited many factories in Thailand, in Laos, and unfortunately what is happening in many of these factories, it is just mind-blowing. And if some of you would see this, even though I tried to display this through my Phil Oud channel many years ago, and obviously most of the oud lovers, they already know this and they have no problem paying extra for artisanal oils, for artisanally distilled oils. So I visited many of agarwood factories in Thailand, and I know what is happening there. And you can refer to some of the videos I've done in the past. I will link them in the description. For instance, one of the particular factory I visited, it was so dirty that I had to literally take each oil collector, remove it, clean it with alcohol, sterilize it, because each collector was like a trap for mosquitoes and other animals. And they were continuously distilling oud, no problem. You know, maybe the oil they were making was pure, but it was so filthy, dirty, and done in a very, very disgusting way. So I had to come there, I had to literally pick up every single collector, rinse it with alcohol, clean it, wash it, order all the pipes to be washed, order all the workers to be, you know, clean and not smoking and not drinking beer while they're doing it. That is a regular practice. Unfortunately, that's what they do. They have beer in one hand, the cigarette in another hand, and then they go inside the boiler, they try to clean it and whatnot, making it even more dirty. So all of these things I seen fermented wood to the point that is full of, you know, and worms and all these disgusting things. And these things are distilled in order to be sold as pure agarwood oil. So that's why I had to travel, I had to stay at these factories. And that's why now, if I'm sourcing ingredients, I have to GCMS lab test them before using them. And it is a common practice in the field of essential oil, because if you're buying essential oils, like even cheap varieties like lime essential oil, orange essential oil, mandarin essential oil, you shouldn't buy it from a website that is not offering you GCMS lab report of this particular batch that you're buying. Otherwise, you never know whether you're getting the authentic essential oil or it's just a mixture, or it is, you know, expired or whatnot. Unfortunately, with agarwood, with attars, it's not really possible, because the batches are so small and not many people willing to test their products, not many people willing to test the oils that they are reselling. So it is very, very serious topic and very serious issue. Again, going back to Thailand, I will just give you I will tell you a few stories so you have a better idea, better understanding. Many factories in Thailand actually cage the area where the oil is collected. So the oil collectors actually located inside like a metal cage that is completely locked, and workers has no access to it. Why do you think is this common practice? Well, because unfortunately most of the workers are very low paid and very careless, and even some of them, you know, alcoholics, drug addicts or whatnot. So factory owners, those who care, they build these cages to protect the oil from access. So anyone want to access the oil and have actual access to the area where the oil collectors are, they protect it. They close it every single day, every single night. The video you can refer to is one of my distillations of Chocobarai oud oil, of Velvet Cayenne oud oil. I will try to link those in the description. You can see that while I've been living in the factory in Thailand and distilling these oils, the owner actually gave me the key, the access to this area where the oil collectors are located. So nobody else have the access to this area. Nobody else can just come and, you know, see the oil, collect the oil or check the oil or add something to the oil, because actually the main reason why they do this is because they do not trust 100% their workers, even though they trust their workers, but they're taking extra care and making sure that workers do not have access to the oil when it is distilling. Workers can go to the boiler area, they can adjust the fire, they can load the raw material in, they can wash the boiler, but access to the actual oil collector area is completely closed. And it is mind-blowing that actually the reason behind it is that yes, some workers, they do steal the oil, they do dilute the oil, they do all these weird things that you cannot really imagine. In Laos, I remember the area where the oil was located was completely almost, you cannot see it. You cannot, nobody have access to it. And when we visited, the owner of the factory was not there. So the guy told us, yeah, that's the factory, that's how we make oil here. But the oil collector area is completely locked down, is completely closed. So you cannot go there, you cannot see it, you cannot touch it. So this is really made me think twice before I purchase any oils, whether it's locked or unlocked. I mean, I feel not comfortable buying this type of oils without GCMS lab testing them first. Coming back to Indian attars, I would love to say that definitely you can find many Indian attars available online. You can find them extremely cheap. You can find them for, I don't know, $10 per bottle, $20 per bottle, $30 per bottle, $50 per bottle, any price you can imagine. You can find Indian attars at any price you can imagine. However, just try and ask the producers of this oil whether they do have GCMS lab test report for the particular batch that they are selling. And unfortunately, I can tell you that 99.9% will not have GCMS lab test for purity for the batches that they are offering. However, even if somebody offer me the lab test report, I will still have to double check and do it myself as well, because I love to trust people. I do trust many producers, many distillers, but after I trust them, I also check the oil myself. And unfortunately, again, very sorry, very sad to say this, that sometimes even people that I trust, I find some failures at the end when I test the oil. So you getting the oil that is selected by me, that is packed by our team. You have the oils that are lab tested by us personally. Every single attar from this batch is GCMS lab tested for purity and quality, to make sure that sandalwood used in these attars is pure, is natural, is of a good quality. And according to the aroma, obviously, first of all, you test the oil by aroma. This is the main thing. I would not send any oil to GCMS lab test unless I love it the way it smells. So obviously it's been done to perfection. The large quantity of flowers been used to infuse the sandalwood oil, because as I said, there are so many variables that can go wrong. Often even trustworthy supplier provide the oil that is inferior quality and maybe even not pure, because there are so many variables. Quality of sandalwood, different batches, quality of raw materials that are distilled later on to infuse this sandalwood oil, how many times they done it, how many times actually they distilled raws into this particular sandalwood that is good or medium quality or bad or pure or diluted 10%, 20%, whatever. What other quality of raw materials, actual raw materials, often is out of control. Then how many times they distill this particular raw materials into this particular base of sandalwood, how many times they done it, how precisely they've been watching the temperature and everything. what type of water they've been using, how they were curing the oil, in what material, in what temperature, in what environment. There are so many variables, there are so many ways for oil to go bad, something to go wrong. This is really the reason why some of the agarwood oils that we offer from same type plantation cost 2, 3, maybe 4, 5 times more than the ones you can order directly from the factory, because we go there, we try to select material by hand, we try to distill it in a very, very hygiene, clean manner, implementing unique distillation techniques, so on and so forth. There are just so many variables that are extremely important in our opinion. So that's how we get Indian attars of the highest quality, the most authentic, the most pure you can find, by selecting these attars, by GCMS lab testing them, and that's why they cost the way they are. And yeah, I hope now it's a bit more clear for a regular perfume users, for the Attar users, for the oud oil users, why some of the artisanal products are a bit more expensive, or sometimes double, triple price of the mass-produced products. The same way, as I said at the beginning, the same exactly way that you can observe fast food is being cooked, is being produced, the materials, the ingredients that are using. Often if we see the process, we would never buy and we would never eat this type of food. And simple things like, I don't know, olive oil that you purchase in your grocery store, sadly, is not authentic, it's not pure, it's not 100% olive oil, is not, even if it is, it might be very old, might be expired, it might be distilled or extracted from very inferior grade raw materials, like some of the videos that I watched, you know, that people say that olives need to be very ripe, you know, the minimum amount of twigs and leaves need to be collected, only the ripe olives give the proper oil, and so on and so forth. And then you see some of the videos how they do olive oil, it's like crazy, you know, they just drop chunks of everything, like almost the full tree. They extract the oil from the tree, the leaves, the branches, the olives, the green, black, expired, unripe, everything together. They squeeze it so hard, using temperature, using this and that, so get as many oil out as possible, and then they present you this as, wow, the purest, natural, amazing quality olive oil. But in reality, if you know a little bit behind the scene and how it should be done, you would be like, wow, this is very far from high quality, you know, extra virgin or whatever they call it, olive oil, because the materials they use, the way they done it, is completely unacceptable. It's completely unacceptable. So yeah, guys, thank you for watching. Sorry, but I had to express this, I had to speak about it. It just brought back some of the memories, how I've been traveling, how I've been living in some of these Thai factories, how I've been, you know, cleaning some of these oil collectors by hand, being completely shocked and blown away that actually oil is resting normally, their normal oil is resting in this type of collectors, full of mosquitoes, full of bugs and different animals and different dirty things. How I've been gifted the key from the factory that I can every single day unlock and supervise the oil and see that it's really up to my high expectations. So yeah, guys, thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye.